So I was rewatching Hot Wheels Battle Force 5's finale, and then a huge question came up my mind. But before I tell you guys what question that is, I just want to ask you kindly to like and subscribe if you don't mind. So that said, what really happens in the Battle Force 5 finale? So for those who don't remember, as Kratos found a way to release his people, Vert and the others decided it was time to reunite the blue sentient shells with their minds. And while the shells were in a cave hidden, their minds were inside Sage's mind. So to put the plan in practice, Vert and Tess tricked Sage into going into hibernation mode to get her to the cave and reunite the mind of the sentients with their shells. However, when Battle Force 5 got there, Kratos and the Red Sentients already knew about the plan, or kind of figured it out, and they held Guardian, which was, well, the guardian of the shells, hostage, and ready to catch Sage when she arrived. And after the regular every episode fight, as Sage got caught by Kaibori and was presumably going to die, as an heroic last act, all she could do was to tell our heroes,
The fist is made up of 5 fingers. Unite and strike. My people will rise again.
However, how could that be? And we see that with that, she sent her mind to the vehicles, and as they reunited in the symbol in the middle of the cave, they were able to awaken the mind of the blue sentients, saving Sage's people, herself, and the world. But if Vert and Tess tricked Sage into going into hibernation mode, that's all because she couldn't know that their minds were inside her. And that's not even a theory, we got the confirmation of that in the Shadow Zone episode, as Halkus says the same thing to Vert and Zoom.
If she knows the mines are there, it will trigger their release.
And with no host blue sentient bodies to latch onto,
The mines will be lost forever.
So if that's true, how could she send her mind to the vehicles? Or how could she know that would save their race? So I got a few theories about that. First one of them is Halkus. Maybe Halkus caught up to Sage at some point and told her that she would need to do that when the time came. You know, because Halkus always wanted to keep the balance. Remember, in the last episode only, he helps out both sides. He helps Vert on finding the cave, and he tells Kratos Vert's going there. So he helped both sides. So it wouldn't be any surprise if he told Sage what she needed to do when Kratos was winning the war. However, that gave the good guys the win in the war. So isn't that a bit of favoritism of Halkus? Well, that would get us into a question of whether he was really impartial or not. And that's probably a topic for another video, because the question we have here now can be answered in other ways. So during the last fight, we hear Sage complaining to Vert that he might have made the wrong call. However, when she sends her mind to the vehicles, she's kind of assuming, okay, Vert has a reason to do this, so maybe the reason she did that was because she trusted Vert enough to, you know, he knows what he's doing. The point of bringing me here is to bring me here, you know, because Sage never left Earth. She never had to leave. The whole point was keeping her alive, and she was the one to be protected. She was the one who provided the good guys all the sentient technology. So sacrificing her would be sacrificing the multiverse. So I think that's the theory that probably makes more sense. And to add to that topic, in the episode Soul Survivor, episode 17 of season 2, not far away from the finale, we hear this conversation between Saul and Sage.
Are we not the last of our race? Are there others?
The lifeless shells of our people are scattered about the multiverse, but their souls remain alive and hidden. For now.
Where? How do we find them?
When the time is right, you will know where the souls are stored. Then they can be reunited with their shells.
But until then?
You must promise me to stay alive, at any cost.
Very well.
So just like we theorized that Halkus could tell Sage this, Saul did exactly that. So maybe the fact that she heard that from Saul, maybe from Halkus as well, and that her mind put herself to trust Vert no matter what he was doing, even though she thought it was wrong, she might have suffered from a phenomenon that we humans suffer called repetition-induced truth effect, which suggests that the more we hear about something, the more likely our mind is to think it's true. Of course, Sage is a sentient, she's basically perfect, but that's not a fault, that's a feeling. So, you know, the fact that all that came together and she just felt like, you know, that could be the answer. They brought me here for a reason. Saul tells me I had to know what to do at the point. The only logical conclusion that comes to Sage's mind at this point is that she's the answer, and she needs to put her mind somewhere where it can give the heroes what they need. So basically that is it. It can be a script flaw, it probably is, but I felt like theorizing it here because I watched this show a lot of times, and I mean it, a lot of times. And last time I did, I was like, okay, so how is that? And I just had to come up with a theory for that. So once again, I am gonna ask you guys if you liked it, if you can subscribe, if you can comment your opinion down below, if you have a different opinion about the end of the series, or about, you know, not the series because it's the end of season 2. There's of course the movie, which is basically potential season 3, but simplified, as the show got cut short. Anyways, I would really appreciate your interaction there down in the comments. See you next time. Take care. Bye.